Greetings, beautiful people. Hey, hey. This is Santia Divine, and I just wanted to come to you today to talk about intuition. And, intuition is something that we are all blessed with. We are all birthed with, and it is an innate quality. It is an innate power that we all possess, okay? Intuition is one of my superpowers, and I am being led to talk about it today because it is something that has, I have experienced, it being dumbed down or really dulled within myself. And I want to talk about one of the main reasons that your intuition can become dulled down, or that one of the ways that one vibrates away from their superpower of intuition. We all are born with innate gifts, okay? We all possess the energies and the gifts or of our creator source, God, the universe, whatever it is that you want to refer to it as, right? We are all blessed with all of the energies that source, that is within source, okay? I would say some of these energies are more prominent within some of us than others, okay? And that's because our gifts and our higher abilities are geared towards what it is that our sole purpose on the planet is in any incarnation. All right. So, like I said, intuition is one of my superpowers, and that is the case for me because, well, I know that because as if we're looking at my human design chart, in my human design, the solar plexus is, one of my, well, not one of my, but that is my active center. And I know I'm using that term incorrectly because I'm not too versed on human design. It's something that I'm learning, and I have learned the basics of it. However, the solar plexus is my active center, okay? And, for those of us who understand that, the solar plexus, determines our confidence, our decision making. The solar plexus is where our emotions, I would say, lie. The solar plexus, most people call the solar plexus reigns in the gut, okay? And most people would refer to our gut as our first brain, right? So it's like, that's where we are led. That's where the intuition lies, okay? Another reason is that I am, when we refer to astrology, I am one, excuse me, I am a sun Cancer, right, in the astrology world. And I also have 3 other planets in Cancer. So we would say that I have a Cancer stellium with 4 planets in Cancer, as well as being an ascendant Cancer, a rising Cancer sign. So along with my sun placement, I have 3 other placements in Cancer, and my ascendant and rising sign is also in Cancer, which lies in the 12th house, okay? So that makes me a natural intuitive being, a naturally, that's one of my natural gifts, where I don't have to practice or try really hard. My intuition is just very strong. Also, water rules the emotions, right? So Cancer is a water sign, right? So my depth of emotions are really very deep. Also being a moon Scorpio, which is also a water sign. So my moon is in Scorpio. All right. So my emotions run very deep because if you know astrology, you would know that Scorpio is a very deep sign. The emotion, the depth, it's about going to the depth of your emotions, going to the depth of the ocean, right? Also being having Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, which is also another water sign. So these are like very prominent aspects in my natal astrology chart that that speaks of my intuition being very naturally strong, and that being one of my superpowers, one of my high abilities. Okay. And like I said, we are all born with all these abilities. Okay. Everyone on this planet is intuitive. It's just a matter of, some of our gifts are naturally come to us, where others, we have to work at it. So there are a lot of abilities where I would have to work extra hard to grow that ability, to evolve that ability, while someone else, it may come to them naturally, and that's okay. All right. Just knowing that we are all equipped with all of the the energies of our creator source. And even just like if we have to work at it just a little bit, that's okay, because it's already within us. Or everything that we need, everything that that source is capable of, source already equipped us with as well. Okay. So getting back to that intuition, right? Some of the ways that, or one of the ways, I'm going to speak of one of the ways that we can dull our intuition. I don't want to say block. I don't want to use that term, because it's always there. It's always there. It's just a matter of us vibrating away from it, at certain points, or when we make certain choices, or our actions, or the level that we're vibrating at in any given moment could increase our intuitive, our intuitive abilities, or it could also decrease it, depending. So it's important to keep ourselves vibrating on a high level. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about today is a matter of when we don't trust our intuition, right? When our gut tells us something, when our intuitive mind tells us something, okay, and we choose to not listen to it, or we choose to ignore it, that is the quickest way to put a barrier between us and our intuitive senses. Okay. And I'm speaking from experience. Okay. Because this is something that I experienced in my own personal life and journey, where, as a child, or when I was younger, my intuition was very, of course, like I said, it's something that I have. So it was always very strong, always very powerful. Okay. And throughout my experiences, through me experiencing trauma and different things, and not loving myself and not trusting myself, I started to ignore my intuition, right? I would ignore my intuition and, put more credit, or give other people more credit for what they were telling me, as opposed to listening to my own inner voice. And that is the biggest way to, you know, to, to come between you and your intuition. That is the biggest way to dull the power of your intuition. So, those things, like I said, came through, me not trusting myself, me not listening to myself, came through in the ways where I would give more credit to external validation, you understand, as opposed to, you know, praising my own self and going off of my own validation. Me wanting that external validation from others, was always something that I chose over my own validation, right? And that came through from a lack of confidence in myself. That came through from a lack of trust in myself. That came through from a lack of loving myself unconditionally. Okay? So, me speaking on this today, like I said, comes from a place of me having experienced that. So I've worked many years now into, healing those things within myself, okay, forgiving myself, okay, being hard on yourself, all right, judging yourself, judging others, okay, is part of that, okay. So it's like it all boils down to not, it all boils down to ignoring your own intuition for external validation, for external praise, for external love, and when all those things are naturally supposed to come from within yourself. Okay, you are the only one that needs to validate you. Okay, you have to love yourself first, unconditionally, no matter how you show up. Okay, it's important to love yourself unconditionally. Okay, it's important to trust yourself. Okay, trusting yourself. Okay, trusting yourself is is a reverence to say that you're trusting God, you're trusting your source. Okay, when you have faith in yourself, okay, when you have faith in how you're being led, okay, that is having faith in source. Okay, that is the, what is the word that I'm looking for? That is the most, reverence you can give to source. That is the most reverence you can give to God, when we love ourselves unconditionally to the point where we're trusting ourselves and we're not listening to the outside noise to validate who we are within, because that can only come from within. All right. So I'm coming here today because I found that, it was very important, because I gave away my power for so long, you understand, to external, to external forces, when my intuition was leading me and guiding me in such powerful ways. And with me ignoring my own intuition, it dulled it. Okay, it dulled it. So once I started trusting myself again, once I started having faith in myself, having faith in source, once I strengthened my faith in my creator, once I strengthened my faith in knowing that I'm always guided, in knowing that source is always co-creating with me to give me my desires, to assist me with accomplishing all my desires. Once I knew that my only job on this planet was to be happy, okay, because I am unconditionally loved, okay, by source and by the universe, that brought my superpower back. And that, that increase in self-love and faith in my own self and confidence, that also boosted my confidence to know that, yes, it's, I'm not saying it's okay, it's not okay to take advice from others, or it's not okay. However, you have to go within and see if that resonates with you. Okay, that is the point that I'm trying to make. It's, of course, it's good to listen to others. I've had so-called master teachers who enabled me to not trust myself, who enabled me, who stepped on my self-confidence, you understand? And me putting so much power, me giving them so much power, because they were so-called master teachers, I believed them over my own intuition. I believed them over my own gut. I've had teachers and authority figures, okay, step on my confidence, step on my voice, and shut me up and shut me down for their own selfish reasons, because they were threatened for whatever reason by what I had to say. And instead of me standing in my power, I gave all my power away to them. You understand? And that put me in a state of low vibration. Okay, the point is to vibrate at your, in order to vibrate at your highest capacity, one of the ways is to trust yourself and trust that you are being led innately by creator source. All right, and by listening to your inner voice. Okay, some of us call it our spirit. Okay, some of us call it our higher selves. Whatever it is that you refer to it as, it's important to listen to it. Okay, it's important to understand that source is always guiding you, because we're all here on our individual missions. Okay, so what's good for you may not be good for someone else. Okay, what's good for me may not be good for you. All right, so that's why it's important to listen to that inner voice. And I want to stress that in the most loving way. All right, I have forgiven myself. Okay, I am, just in a state of pure self-love, pure trust in myself, in my creator, that my creator is always working in, for my highest good and in my best interest. All right. So, this is the message. And, yeah, I don't want to stay on here, but yeah, not listening to your intuition, yeah, it comes from all those things. It's a lack of self-love, a lack of self-trust, okay? I would even say a lack of self-respect, okay? A lack of, faith, all right? And it's all about unconditionally loving yourself. It's all about unconditional self-love, to build that foundation, to stand on the pillar of faith, self-love, self-trust, in knowing that you are enough at all times in every way possible. Okay, you are always enough. Okay, also seeking perfection is another way to to dull your intuition. Okay, when you seek to be perfect, okay, it's like, Creator source says, come as you are. All right, so there's no such thing as perfection. Okay, it's a matter, just be okay with being imperfectly perfect. Okay, being imperfectly perfect is, what source, is expecting. All right, because no one is absolutely perfect. And when you seek to get perfection, which is something that I always did, it took me away from my intuition, because in the way where it's like, I would be led to deliver a channeled message, and before I could deliver that channel message, I would have to make sure that my hair was right. I had to make sure that I was looking right. I wanted to put on makeup. I wanted to make sure that I had, that I looked right. And a lot of times I stopped myself from delivering that message because I wasn't confident in myself. I didn't feel like I was looking good enough, or I didn't feel like the message that source was guiding me to present was good enough, to be heard by by others. And that's a disrespect to source, because source is saying, hey, I am, source has told me I have tasked you, with this message. And instead of honoring that, I'm putting more light into, trying to be perfect. And what is perfection? Source already made us perfect in his image. Okay. And, his image or her image means that we are already equipped with all the energies. Okay. All the energies of source within ourselves. Okay. So when we seek to be perfect, it's all an external, we're putting external value on the wonderful things that source has equipped us with internally. And it's just like, it's like telling source that you're not perfect because, you didn't make me perfectly. You understand? When we are perfect in our own unique ways, we are all perfect in our own unique way. Okay. And I had to check myself, because it's like, do I really love myself, unconditionally? If I feel like if my hair is not done in a certain way, then I don't look good enough. You understand? So yeah, I'm at the point where I'm totally learning to embrace every part of me. Okay. I'm wearing my natural hair because that's something that I've always, shied away from. I had locks for 11 years, and my hair was, I loved my hair. I loved, how I showed up. I love how I presented myself when I had my locks. Okay. And, I decided to cut my locks off, for a fresh start, okay, for spiritual reasons, for a fresh start, where I cut all my hair off. And ever since I cut my hair off, I would always feel the need to throw on a wig, or I would feel the need to, add hair extensions and different things like that. And to me, I didn't look good if I didn't have some kind of hair extension. I wouldn't even go outside unless I threw on a wig. And it's like, I had to check myself, like, is that unconditional self-love? Like, am I saying that God didn't, create me in the way that, that makes me beautiful? You understand? In feeling like I needed to add all these external things, lashes and makeup and hair, in order for me to feel like I was, beautiful, or like I was good enough. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with adding extensions or throwing on a wig, but for me, I felt like I needed it. You understand? It was a codependence where I felt like, I needed that to make me beautiful. And that's where the problem came in. Okay. Of course, it's okay to enhance your looks. It's okay. But you have to have that confidence within. All right. You also, you have to have that innate confidence. You have to have that self-love, as a foundation. Okay. As your foundation. All right. It's important to have that as your foundation, where, if you don't have those extensions, it doesn't take away from you showing up. All right. And that's what it is for me. You understand? I allowed those things to take away from me showing up. All right. And I needed to check myself. I needed to fix that. All right. And really come to terms with actually what unconditional self-love was. All right. And now it's like, I am rocking my natural hair. You understand? I'm not saying that I won't, add any hair extensions. You understand? Of course, I'm going to do it. But now that, I'm ingrained with that self-love, where it's like, you know what? I feel beautiful regardless. Okay? So, yeah, that also takes away from your intuition, because it's like, you're not trusting that you are enough in the way that you are, in the way that you were made. You understand? And, you are not enough in your creation. When it is like, before we were created, we asked for everything that we came to this planet with. We created the life and our, all the experiences that we are experiencing on this planet before we were, before we decided to come on this planet. So for us to come on this planet now and change the plan, that's going against our own self. That's going against, what it is that we constructed for ourselves in experiencing. All right. So, that's a message. And, thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing with me, and, and thank you for allowing me to, to come with this message. I just, found that it was very important, because on this journey, like, I looked to others to give me that, that validation. I looked to others, I gave them more power. I gave others more power, as opposed to, listening to my inner voice. And, if I can help one person, to understand, all right, that, the importance, how important it is to listen to your inner voice and go with your God, your God self within. That's, that's my mission. All right. So I love you. This is Sanchia Divine, and, take care until next time. Mwah. Peace out.